In this video, we're exposing the shocking truth about what's really in your whiskey. The 15 brands you need to avoid immediately. From synthetic colorings and sugar-loaded liqueurs to chill-filtered blends stripped of everything that makes whiskey worth drinking, what you're about to discover may completely change your next dram. Stay until the end because we will reveal 5 distilleries that still do it properly. Real ingredients, traditional methods, nothing hidden. Let's expose what's really in your glass. Starting at number 15, Chivas Regal 12 sits on premium shelves across Britain. That sophisticated packaging and royal warrant heritage suggest quality worth the price premium. But here is what Pernod Ricard does not advertise. Chivas uses E150, a caramel coloring, to maintain identical appearance across millions of bottles. That consistent amber glow is not from 12 years in oak casks. It is from industrial coloring added just before bottling. Reddit threads exploded when drinkers compared batches side by side. The color was identical despite different cask types. That is statistically impossible without artificial intervention. The whiskey undergoes heavy chill filtration, removing natural oils and esters that create body and mouthfeel. The process strips away compounds that make aged whiskey complex. What makes Chivas particularly troubling is the heritage deception. The Strathlisla distillery dates back to 1786, but modern production prioritizes volume over traditional methods. You are paying premium prices for whiskey engineered for global consistency, not crafted for character. At number 14, Teacher's Highland Cream dominates budget shelves, marketed as perfectly smooth across every bottle. But experienced whiskey drinkers know when a brand has to tell you it is smooth. That is a red flag. Teacher's achieves that smoothness through aggressive chill filtration, stripping natural oils, fatty acids, and esters. What remains is thin, one-dimensional liquid, prioritizing easy drinking over actual flavor. Forums consistently cite Teacher's as the textbook example of over-processed blending. The smoothness is not quality, it is absence. Everything interesting has been filtered away. Reddit users say smooth became marketing code, meaning the company removed everything that makes whiskey taste like whiskey. Budget pricing with budget methods throughout. That is exactly what you are paying for. If Teacher's industrial smoothness troubled you, wait until you see what the next brand hides behind triple maturation claims. At number 13, Grant's markets triple wood maturation as premium craftsmanship. 3 different casks are presented as creating complex character. Here is the reality that whiskey forums expose. Grant's contains predominantly grain whiskey, not malt. Grain whiskey costs a fraction to produce and is made in continuous column stills rather than traditional copper pot stills. The triple wood claim means a small percentage of malt whiskey touched 3 cask types briefly. The majority, cheap grain neutral spirits, saw oak only to meet minimal legal requirements. Reddit drinkers consistently note the thin, spiritus character. That is grain whiskey dominance with malt whiskey added purely for legal compliance. Grant's uses a no-age statement. That means the youngest whiskey could be just 3 years and 1 day old. The legal minimum with no disclosure requirement. It is a loophole hiding youth behind marketing language. The brand produces over 1 million cases annually. Volume production on that scale requires shortcuts everywhere. What makes Grant's particularly deceptive is that the triple wood name suggests craft and care, while in practice it delivers bulk grain spirits with minimal malt content. And if Grant's grain-heavy formula shocked you, this next brand trades entirely on a meaningless name. At number 12, J&B Rare trades entirely on a name that means absolutely nothing. Rare suggests scarcity and quality. There's nothing rare about it. Diageo produces millions of bottles annually, the opposite of rare. What whiskey enthusiasts discovered is that J&B was specifically designed for mixing, not sipping. The blend prioritizes lightness and neutrality for cocktails. You are drinking whiskey engineered to disappear into mixers. The formula contains over 40 different whiskies. It sounds impressive until you realize it is primarily grain whiskey, stretched with minimal malt additions. Forums reveal the brand targets markets where whiskey gets mixed with cola or ginger ale. The UK receives the same export-grade formula. Independent tasters consistently describe it as thin, spiritus, and forgettable. That is intentional. This is whiskey designed not to be noticed. It is mass-produced mediocrity, marketed as something special while delivering engineered blandness for maximum mixability. Now, if mass production bothered you, this next Irish icon takes volume over quality to staggering levels. At number 11, Jameson Original dominates Irish whiskey sales worldwide. That triple distilled promise suggests extra refinement and quality. Here is what they do not mention. Triple distillation removes character alongside impurities. Each distillation strips more flavor compounds, leaving lighter, more neutral spirits. Scottish distilleries use 2 distillations specifically to preserve complexity. Irish regulations permit up to 75% grain whiskey in blends. Jameson exploits this using predominantly cheap column-still grain spirits with minimal pot-still whiskey. The brand produces over 7 million cases annually. Industrial-scale production demands cost optimization at every stage. Forums consistently note Jameson's peculiar sweetness and lack of depth. That is grain whiskey dominance throughout. Jameson was reformulated repeatedly following corporate acquisitions, each time adjusting towards maximum profitability rather than traditional Irish methods. The smoothness everyone celebrates is actually absence. Everything interesting has been distilled away. But if Irish industrial blending disappointed you, this next premium Scotch proves expensive does not mean honest. At number 10, Johnnie Walker Black Label positions itself as the premium step up from Red Label. That 12-year age statement and sophisticated marketing justify higher prices. But here is what Diageo's marketing obscures. The 12-year age statement only guarantees the youngest whiskey is 12 years old. The majority could be and typically is exactly 12 years and a few days. No expensive older stock is used when younger whiskey meets legal requirements. Black Label contains the same E150A caramel coloring, maintaining a dark amber appearance across millions of bottles. Industrial standardization prioritizing appearance over authentic variation. Reddit consistently exposes that Black Label tastes thin and manufactured compared with single malts at similar prices. That is over-processing and strategic blending, minimizing character while maximizing profit per barrel. Independent reviews note the sameness across batches, with precision blending creating an identical taste worldwide. That is factory consistency, not craftsmanship. Black Label proves premium pricing does not guarantee premium ingredients. You are paying for heritage marketing while drinking a strategically engineered global product. If even Black Label's 12-year age statement cannot guarantee quality, the next Victorian-era brands betray their heritage even more severely. At number 9, Black & White trades on iconic Victorian-era packaging that suggests heritage and tradition. Those terrier dogs and the vintage label design create nostalgia for quality that no longer exists. Here is what Diageo will not tell you. Black & White was specifically reformulated for export markets where Scotch gets mixed heavily. The UK receives this same export-grade formula, a whiskey engineered for cola, not contemplation. What forums expose is simple. Black & White survives purely on brand recognition from drinkers who remember when it was decent. Modern production bears no resemblance to the original recipe their grandparents enjoyed. Independent tasters describe it as harsh, thin, and unmemorable. That Victorian packaging promises something the liquid inside cannot deliver. Heritage branding masks corporate cost-cutting. You are paying for nostalgia while drinking reformulated mediocrity. If Victorian nostalgia has disappointed you, this next brand hides behind Scottish imagery while delivering something far from authentic. At number 8, William Lawson's dominates European supermarket shelves as Scotland's best-kept secret. That tartan packaging and highland imagery suggest authentic Scottish tradition. Reality: Bacardi-owned mass production designed specifically for mixing markets. William Lawson sells over 2 million cases annually, predominantly to France, Spain, and Russia, where Scotch gets mixed with soft drinks. The UK receives an identical mixer-grade formula. Forums consistently rank it among the harshest, most spirituous budget blends available. It is legal Scotch whisky at the absolute lowest cost point. What Reddit reveals is blunt. If your whiskey needs cola to be drinkable, that is not good whiskey. That is industrial spirits with Scottish marketing. The brand underwent multiple ownership changes. Each corporate acquisition brought further cost reductions and quality compromises. Tasters note aggressive alcohol burn and a lack of distinguishing character. That is young grain whisky, inadequately matured and bottled at minimum standards. Scottish imagery is selling mixer-grade spirits to drinkers who do not know better. But if budget blends concern you, wait until you discover what this next fun branded whisky hides behind playful marketing. At number 7, Monkey Shoulder appears everywhere as the fun scotch for people who do not usually drink whiskey. That playful branding and craft image hide industrial reality. It is another no-age statement blend, which means the youngest whiskey could be barely 3 years old without disclosure. The batch numbering suggests small-scale craft production. The reality is different. Monkey Shoulder produces hundreds of thousands of cases annually, mass production masked by craft marketing. Forum discussion makes the problem clear. The youngest whiskey dominates the flavor profile. Any older whiskey appears to serve purely for rounding and for marketing claims about hand-selected casks. Tasters consistently describe spiritus heat and a lack of complexity, textbook indicators of young whiskey rushed to market and then heavily diluted. The brand targets younger drinkers and cocktail culture. There is nothing wrong with mixing whiskey except when premium pricing suggests sipping quality while delivering mixer-grade liquid designed for ice. Now, if craft marketing disguising mass production bothered you, nothing prepares you for the world's best-selling scotch. At number 6, Johnnie Walker Red Label stands as the world's best-selling Scotch whisky. That global dominance reflects marketing power, not liquid quality. Red Label epitomizes everything wrong with mass-market blending. The blend contains predominantly grain whiskey, cheap column-still spirits stretched with minimal malt. Forums consistently describe it as harsh, spiritus, and one-dimensional. Red Label was specifically designed for mixing. That aggressive character exists purposefully, whiskey engineered to cut through cola, not for neat consumption. Yet Diageo prices it as sipping quality while delivering a mixer-grade formula. You are paying Scotch whisky prices for industrial grain spirits with Scottish branding. Red Label represents volume over quality at staggering scale. Millions of bottles annually maintain profit margins while delivering the absolute minimum legal Scotch whisky. But if industrial blending shocked you, wait until you see what this next brand hides behind its finest claims. At number 5, Valentine's Finest markets itself as refined, sophisticated Scotch whisky. The finest designation suggests superior quality and careful selection. Here's what Pernod Ricard doesn't advertise. Valentine's contains predominantly grain whiskey, industrial column-still spirits comprising the bulk of every bottle. The malt content exists purely for legal compliance and minimal flavor. Another no-age statement conceals whiskey as young as 3 years, which dominates the blend. Any older stock is reserved for premium expressions, leaving finest with the youngest, cheapest base possible. Reddit reveals Valentine's was reformulated repeatedly to reduce costs. Modern production bears little resemblance to the original recipe that built its reputation decades ago. Forums consistently describe a thin, spiritus character with artificial sweetness. That is grain dominance with minimal complexity and aggressive standardization. The finest name represents pure marketing cynicism. Mass-produced mediocrity branded as something superior while delivering exactly what the budget pricing suggests. If Valentine's Finest claims disappointed you, the next brand's triple maturation marketing might be the most cynical yet. At number 4, White & Mackay trades on its triple maturation process. That sounds premium, whiskey matured 3 times for extra complexity. Here is the reality whiskey enthusiasts expose. Triple maturation means the blend is briefly married in large vats between standard maturation periods. It is marketing terminology for basic blending practice, not revolutionary craftsmanship. Independent tasters note aggressive sweetness and a lack of depth. Forums consistently rank White & Mackay among the most artificially smooth budget blends. That sweetness masks young grain spirits rather than reflecting quality maturation. The brand uses the word smooth prominently in marketing, which is a red flag indicating overprocessing and the removal of character through aggressive filtration. What makes White & Mackay particularly troubling is that triple maturation sounds impressive enough that casual drinkers assume premium quality, while they actually receive standard industrial blending dressed up with creative terminology. You are paying for marketing language while drinking cost-optimized grain spirits. But if these heritage brands disappointed you, nothing prepares you for what comes next. Scotland's pub staple hides an industrial reality. At number 3, Bell's Original dominates Scottish pub taps and supermarket shelves. That tartan packaging and the Afor Yego slogan suggest authentic Scottish heritage. But here is what Diageo's marketing obscures. Bell's relies predominantly on grain whisky. These are cheap industrial spirits stretched with minimal malt content. The blend prioritizes volume production over traditional Scottish character. Forums consistently describe Bell's as harsh and one-dimensional. That spiritus burn is not bold Scottish character. It is young grain whisky, inadequately matured and processed for maximum efficiency. Bell's uses industrial colouring to maintain a consistent appearance across massive production volumes. Standardization replaces authentic cask variation. What Reddit reveals is that Bell's survives on brand recognition and aggressive pricing. Drinkers assume Scottish heritage guarantees quality while receiving cost-optimized industrial blending designed for pubs and supermarkets. They market Scottish tradition while delivering industrial efficiency throughout. And if Bell's market dominance troubles you, wait until you discover Scotland's actual best-selling whisky. At number 2, the famous Grouse holds the title of Scotland's best-selling whisky. That success reflects decades of marketing, not liquid excellence. Famous Grouse epitomizes mass-market compromise at every level. Edrington Group prioritizes cost reduction over the highland tradition the marketing celebrates. Another no-age statement conceals barely legal maturation dominating every bottle. Independent tasters consistently describe Famous Grouse as bland, thin, and forgettable. That's intentional. The whisky is engineered for mass appeal through character removal rather than development. The brand uses heavy chill filtration and caramel coloring, standardizing appearance globally. Industrial processing eliminates natural variation. What makes Famous Grouse particularly troubling is its market dominance. Millions of Scots consume this as their introduction to whisky, associating Scottish whisky with over-processed mediocrity rather than craft. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for the number 1 spot. The most deceptive whisky currently sold in Britain. Taking the number 1 spot as the absolute worst whisky you can buy in Britain, Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and its flavoured variants represent everything wrong with modern whisky marketing. The flavoured versions, honey, fire, apple, are not whisky. They are liqueurs disguised as whisky with added sugar, glycerin, and artificial flavourings. Some contain more sugar per serving than cola. Reddit threads exploded when drinkers discovered these whiskies legally classify as liqueurs in many jurisdictions. The alcohol is diluted with sweeteners, creating a sticky syrup that targets people who do not actually like whiskey. Even standard Old No. 7 undergoes charcoal filtering, the Lincoln County process, which is marketed as premium refinement, whilst actually stripping character and complexity that natural maturation creates. What makes Jack Daniel's particularly troubling is that it dominates UK sales despite not being Scotch, conditioning drinkers to accept sugar-loaded, over-filtered spirits as an authentic whisky experience. That is American marketing power selling manufactured sweetness as Tennessee tradition. But there is hope. These next 5 brands prove whisky can still be made properly. At number 5, Bruichladdish's Classic Laddie represents Islay whisky making without compromise. The distillery publishes complete transparency others won't risk. Every cask type, barley source, and production detail is publicly available online. That openness proves they have nothing to hide. Classic Laddie contains 100% Scottish barley from named farms. No corn, no wheat, no cheap grain fillers diluting the spirit. Bottled at 50% without chill filtration or colouring additions. You are getting natural oils, esters, and compounds that create genuine complexity and mouthfeel. Nothing stripped away, nothing added. Here, no age statement actually means quality. Classic Laddie blends older stocks with younger for complexity rather than hiding youth. The difference is that Bruichladdich discloses this openly rather than using terminology as deception. Forums consistently praise Classic Laddie as textbook honest whiskey. What you taste reflects what happened in the cask, not processing afterwards. Scottish barley, traditional methods, complete transparency. This is what whiskey should be. If Islay transparency impressed you, head to the Isle of Skye, where island character meets traditional distilling. At number 4, Talisker 10-year-old from the Isle of Skye delivers rugged island character without industrial compromise. 10 years minimum maturation is declared honestly on every bottle. Not marketing terminology, but actual time in cask developing complexity naturally. Talisker is bottled at 45.8%, preserving intensity. Higher alcohol carries more aromatic compounds and creates a fuller mouthfeel than minimum strength alternatives. The whiskey undergoes only light filtration, so natural oils and character remain intact. You are tasting whiskey as it emerged from the cask, not engineered smoothness from aggressive processing. No caramel colouring means batch variation in appearance reflects actual cask differences, proof of authentic maturation rather than industrial standardization creating identical bottles. Diageo owns Talisker, but maintains traditional production methods. Some corporate owners prioritize heritage over margins when reputation demands it. Independent tasters consistently rank Talisker 10 among the most honest expressions from major producers, with declared age, proper strength, and genuine character. Island whiskey crafted properly, without shortcuts. But if Skye's rugged character impressed you, Islay's peat powerhouse takes honesty even further. At number 3, Ardbeg 10-year-old from Islay represents peat-driven whiskey made without compromise. Every bottle contains whiskey that spent a full decade developing complexity through proper aging. Declared honestly, not hidden behind marketing terminology. Ardbeg bottles are 46% non-chill filtered. Natural oils and phenolic compounds remain intact, creating the thick, oily mouthfeel Islay malts are famous for. The pale gold reflects actual cask influence rather than added colouring. Batch variation proves authenticity. Each release is slightly different based on genuine cask selection. The distillery uses 100% malted barley from traditional floor maltings. No grain whiskey, no adjuncts, no cost-cutting fillers diluting the spirit. LVMH owns Ardbeg but maintains independence in production decisions. The distillery's cult following demands quality and corporate ownership respects that legacy. Forums consistently rank Ardbeg 10 as the benchmark Islay whiskey. Aggressive peat character delivered honestly without processing compromises that strip away what makes it special. Traditional Islay whiskey making preserved properly. Now, if Islay's peat power impressed you, this next island distillery proves independence creates excellence. At number 2, Arran 10-year-old from the Isle of Arran proves independent Scottish distilling still thrives. The distillery opened in 1995, young by Scottish standards, but committed to traditional methods from day one. No corporate baggage, no inherited cost-cutting practices. Arran 10 contains 100% Scottish barley with a decade of genuine maturation. The age declaration reflects actual time in oak casks, not minimum requirements. Bottled at 46%, non-chill filtered. You are tasting whiskey as it emerged from the cask. Natural oils, complexity and character intact rather than processed away. Complete transparency about ingredients and methods. Arran publishes production details because quality withstands scrutiny rather than requiring marketing obscurity. Independent tasters praise Arran's fruit-forward character, citrus and orchard fruits developing naturally through maturation, not added afterwards through flavouring or sweetening. The distillery remains family-owned and fiercely independent. They have refused corporate buyout attempts, prioritising long-term reputation over short-term profit maximisation. Island whiskey crafted with integrity. No shortcuts, total honesty, genuine character. But if Arran impressed you, wait until you discover what's taking the top spot. Taking the top spot as the finest readily available whiskey in Britain, Loch Lomond. 12-year-old from the Highlands represents Scottish distilling done properly. 12 years minimum maturation declared honestly. Every bottle contains whiskey aged over a decade in traditional oak casks. Not marketing language, but verifiable reality. Loch Lomond. Bottles at 46%, non-chill filtered, without any colouring additions. Natural oils and compounds create authentic mouthfeel and complexity impossible to achieve through processing. The distillery uses 100% Scottish malted barley. No grain whiskey, no adjuncts, no cost-cutting measures. Pure Highland single malt from traditional methods. What makes Loch Lomond exceptional, they operate unique straight neck pot stills alongside traditional swan neck stills, creating distinctive character impossible to replicate through blending or post-production processing. Complete ingredient transparency with independent ownership, maintaining quality over profit margins. Traditional distilling methods are preserved across generations rather than abandoned for efficiency. Forums consistently praise Loch Lomond 12 as exceptional value, proper age, honest strength, genuine character at accessible pricing rather than premium markup. This is what Scottish whisky looks like when distillers prioritise craft over corporate margins. 4 ingredients, 12 years maturation, nothing hidden. There you have it, 15 whisky brands to avoid and 5 that still do it properly. Like this video, comment which shocked you most, and subscribe so you do not miss what is really in your products.